Crebounds, me-bounds, T-bounds. If it's coming off the backboard, that's mine. That's mine. Angel Reese is back in the building. Now, this can go one or two ways. One or three ways, really. Number one, there's a lot of bloopies, and we get some content.
One superstar returned within fresh competition while officials twisted regulations necessary toward completion. Such actions involved mid-season triple exchange, shifting athletes across rosters resembling board game maneuvers, purely restoring a figure absent before opening campaign concluded. Now examine significance here, since public explanation versus underlying reality present sharply contrasting narratives overall. Observers noticed power dynamics, financial motives, branding pressure, precedent concerns, governance credibility, transparency questions, fan reactions, media framing, implications emerging.
Are the same two people that are just moving around pieces on their chessboard because they want to. They're playing checkers with y'all because you guys are just pieces on a board. A bunch of pawns on the board, dare I say. But it could only go one of three ways. We get bloopies, ratings go up, ratings stay the same. If they go down, yikes. If they go down. Let's get right into it. Please like the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.
That's the core of it. The base of Angel Reese's whole image traces back to that title game showdown versus Caitlin Clark. Nearly 2 seasons spent surfing that moment, framing herself as the catalyst for women's hoops relevance. And yes, acknowledgement is fair. That scene absolutely drew eyes. But here's what rarely gets challenged. If her presence truly defines the sport, why did Unrivaled's viewership remain unchanged in her absence? Let's examine the data. Prior to her return, Unrivaled attracted roughly 130,000 to 150,000 viewers on Friday evenings. Solid figures for a new league launching in February. The real issue people avoid is whether her comeback genuinely shifts the audience needle, or if this is simply costly sentiment tied to a championship memory she experienced from a nightclub through FaceTime.
Okay with just getting traded on a whim? Let me know your thoughts as right in the comment section. I'm just curious what you guys think. Let's get right into it. WNBA star Angel, my Angel Reese will return to Unrivaled to defend the championship. Oh yeah. What trade allowed Angel Reese?
That's the detail everyone keeps skating past in these press releases. Angel Reese earned the Defensive Player of the Year award during Unrivaled's debut season. She also posted that unforgettable 20-rebound, 20-point performance versus the Lunar Owls. Yet when the championship arrived, the moment that truly counted, she wasn't present. Instead, she was literally on FaceTime with teammates from wherever she chose over completing the mission. And this wasn't the first instance either, as she previously failed to finish her sophomore WNBA campaign with the Chicago Sky. There's a clear trend of beginning with momentum, driving headlines, then stepping away once the grind intensifies. So when Unrivaled pulls off a 3-team trade to bring her back, shifting Courtney Williams to Vinyl, sending Azura Stevens to Hive, solely to open a slot for Angel on Rose, it raises the question of what they are truly investing in.
WNBA star Angel Reese is returning to Unrivaled. On Wednesday, what charge was James Pierce Jr. James Pierce, you're a piece of shit. I talked about this on my football channel, you're a piece of shit. WNBA star Angel Reese is returning to Unrivaled. On Wednesday, the Miami-based 3-on-3 league announced Reese would be coming back for her second season, after initially opting not to play. She is rejoining Rose BC, the team she helped win Unrivaled's inaugural title. Well, that's not true. We're one paragraph in and we're already telling lies. Angel Reese didn't play.
Now things start getting real interesting. This move took place after Unrivaled had already been operating for an entire month. The league had found its flow, rosters were settling in, chemistry was forming, and then everything gets disrupted. Even the exchange terms feel off. Rose seemingly received no direct replacement for Stevens. Vinyl sacrificed what exactly for Williams? The coverage stays unclear because this was never about on-court tactics. The goal was simple: Bring Angel Reese back inside the arena and pray it converts into eyeballs. Kalia Copper literally had to challenge her publicly on TikTok, saying pull up to Miami and check your messages for that Rose jersey. That isn't standard recruiting behavior. That's urgency pretending to be jokes. And Angel's reply, how's that? Comes off like she's granting a favor by arriving mid-season after the league already rearranged everything around her availability.
Plays Hive at 8:45 Eastern on TNT and Chew TV. The game can also be streamed on Max. Angel Reese comes back against Money Mitch. Put him in a ditch. Wow. This shakes things up. I can't wait to watch the highlights, the boobies on Twitter.
February 20th marks the comeback night, scheduled immediately after the solo tournament concludes. Rose against Hive, tipping off at 8:45 p.m. Eastern on TNTV, with streaming available on Max. They're rolling out the red carpet, primetime exposure, top billing, and the biggest stage possible for her return. And who's on the other side? Nafisa Collier's Hive, the same squad that just acquired Azura Stevens through the deal that cleared the path for Angel's arrival. Let that sink in. Azura Stevens, a key contributor to Rose's title run, gets moved aside to create space for someone who missed the championship altogether. Imagine that exchange. Thanks for showing up when it counted, but we need your roster spot for the athlete with the larger social media reach. That's the uncomfortable commercial reality of women's basketball most people would rather ignore.
Oh, you guys didn't think I was going to leave you empty-handed without the ratings from this past weekend, did you? You guys know me better than that. Friday, February 6th, Unrivaled Lunar Owls versus the Aces, 130,000 total viewers, 50,000 in the 18 to 49 demographic. And then Unrivaled, you have the Hive versus the Breeze, 40,000 in the 18 to 49 viewers, 150,000 total. And then you fast forward to Saturday, Unrivaled Phantom vs. Mist on True TV, 70,000 viewers. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I appreciate all the support.
Here's the uneasy issue that has to be confronted. Are Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart the very figures steering the WNBA CBA discussions? The identical duo who just shuffled athletes across Unrivaled as if it were a fantasy league, except these are real livelihoods. Because that's precisely what unfolded. They own the operation. They dictate the moves. And once they decided Angel Reese needed to return for viewership, engagement, or whatever justification fits, a three-team deal magically appeared that lacked competitive logic yet aligned perfectly with business goals. Every other player in Unrivaled witnessed it in real time. They saw policies flex. They watched a season get reshaped midstream. They learned who actually holds authority and who exists as a movable piece. And now those same two individuals are preparing to face WNBA ownership to bargain on behalf of every athlete. That overlap is a glaring conflict no one seems willing to confront.
Ratings go up. Ratings stay the same. If they go down, yikes. If they go down. Let's get right into it. Please like the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You guys remember this, don't you?
It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball.
Right.
People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game.
That's right.
And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role.
So let's play this forward. There are three possible outcomes for how Angel's comeback unfolds. Scenario 1, she returns, sparks headlines, stirs tension with other athletes, and Unrivaled cashes in on viral energy. Short clips flood social platforms. Conversation increases around the league, and even if the on-court product isn't elite, the off-court drama keeps people watching. That's the hopeful angle. Option 2, viewership genuinely rises. Curiosity drives new eyes. Fans who ignored Unrivaled suddenly tune in to see what Angel adds to Rose. Maybe she's improved. Maybe she's locked in. Maybe she actually sees the season through. Viewership climbs from 150,000 to 250,000 or even 300,000, and suddenly all the disruption feels justified. Then there's option 3, the one no one wants to acknowledge. The audience doesn't change at all. Angel returns, does what she does best, controls the glass, impacts the game, and the numbers remain flat because perhaps the fans invested in Angel were already watching. Maybe her absence wasn't the issue. Maybe the real challenge is the product itself. 3-on-3 basketball in February, competing as the NBA postseason approaches, simply lacks broad appeal regardless of star power. Let's examine the ratings because they don't match the narrative. On Friday, February 6th, Lunar Owls vs. Aces drew 130,000 viewers. Later that night, Hive against Breeze reached 150,000. Saturday's Phantom vs. Mist matchup on TRTV dipped to 70,000. Those figures came without Angel Reese. Consistent, modest, exactly what you'd expect from a niche offering. Here's the key point. The league has operated an entire month without her, and the audience hasn't collapsed. It hasn't exploded either, but it has held steady. And that tells a story the hype doesn't want to admit. That points to the idea that the people tuning into Unrivaled are invested in the format itself and in the athletes who committed from the very start to compete. Angel's absence didn't sink the league, so why assume her return will suddenly launch it into another stratosphere? The smart money says viewership bumps modestly for her February 20th opener driven by curiosity alone, then drifts back to normal within a couple of weeks, because that's the usual pattern with engineered hype. The first surge happens. Long-term expansion rarely follows. And Unrivaled just reshaped its entire structure banking on that short-term bump becoming something permanent. But there's another possibility worth considering. What if Angel comes back and the numbers actually fall? What if casual viewers interpret this as confirmation the league prioritizes fame over fair competition? What if fans of the players who were moved feel pushed aside and disengage? That's the gamble no one seems to be factoring in. When the spotlight centers on a single figure, the message sent is that everyone else is secondary. Which circles back to the fundamental question. What exactly is Unrivaled marketing? Is it high-level 3-on-3 basketball, or is it a media-driven content engine that just happens to feature basketball? Those are not the same thing, and they attract entirely different audiences. The hardcore hoops crowd wants to watch elite players battling at the highest possible standard. The audience for this league isn't necessarily chasing stats. They want drama, storylines, and personalities they can track online. Angel Reese fits squarely into that second category. Her worth isn't measured by efficiency or defensive range. It's in her power to spark conversation, produce shareable moments, and give fans something to debate on social platforms. That 20-20 game last season? A remarkable stat line, sure, but was it great team basketball or just one player dominating while her squad controlled the contest? There's a crucial distinction. And here's what coverage conveniently skipped. Angel was named Defensive Player of the Year, yet Rose captured the championship without her on the court. They didn't collapse. They didn't struggle to fill her role. They won. Kalia Copper, now publicly pleading for her return, led that team to a title in Angel's absence. So what is Rose really gaining besides a recognizable name? The trade exposes the underlying motive. Courtney Williams, a proven point guard with playoff chops, moves to Vinyl. Azura Stevens, a versatile forward who actually showed up for the finals, goes to Hive. And Rose acquires Angel Reese, who brings rebounds, defensive energy, and, crucially, a massive social media presence. This isn't a basketball-centered trade, it's a marketing-driven maneuver, and everyone involved knows it. Consider Azura Stevens, a professional since 2018, with stints in Dallas, Chicago, and Los Angeles, consistently reliable and drama-free. Her reward for helping Rose secure Unrivaled's inaugural championship? Getting traded to make room for someone who walked away mid-season. The message to every other player is clear: commitment doesn't matter. Your professionalism doesn't matter. Your real contributions on the court don't matter. What counts is whether you can drive clicks. And let's not ignore the obvious. Angel Reese's brand exists almost entirely as Caitlin Clark's foil. That national championship clash, the gesture, the trash talk, the villain storyline. She's been riding that wave for 2 years. But the uncomfortable reality is Caitlin Clark has outpaced her in every significant metric: Rookie of the Year, All-Star starter, record-breaking attendance, and transforming the Indiana Fever into a must-watch team. While Angel was filming content and skipping the conclusion of her WNBA season, Caitlin was grinding through a punishing rookie schedule and elevating everyone around her. This isn't criticism, it's fact. And it matters because Angel's unrivaled return is being packaged as a triumphant comeback, a moment supposedly everyone has been waiting for. But has anyone really been waiting? Or is the league simply trying to manufacture relevance by bringing back a player who generates engagement? Even if that engagement doesn't translate into lasting viewership, the timing raises questions. Angel initially opted out of the season, choosing other priorities and opportunities. So what changed? Did she suddenly crave competitive basketball? Realize her brand needed the spotlight? Or did Unrivaled present an irresistible financial or strategic offer to boost ratings for the stretch run? The official story, that she voluntarily rejoined her championship squad, doesn't hold up when you remember she abandoned that very team during their title run. Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart are savvy business operators. They didn't create Unrivaled to serve as a platform for players chasing off-season relevance. They designed Unrivaled to be a profitable venture that highlights women's basketball at its peak. So if they're willing to pull off a 3-team trade and reshape the league just to bring Angel Reese back, they clearly see financial upside. The real question is whether that confidence is grounded in data or mere hope. Here's the litmus test. If her return fails to boost ratings, if numbers remain flat or even decline, what's the plan for next season? Will Unrivaled double down on the personality-first approach, courting more controversial figures and manufactured drama? Or will they shift back to prioritizing basketball, rewarding players who show up every night and truly care about winning? Right now, their actions send a blunt message about what matters to them, and it isn't loyalty or professionalism. The larger consequence extends to women's basketball overall. The WNBA has spent decades fighting for legitimacy as a professional league, pushing for fair pay, improved conditions, media coverage, and respect. And just as players like Caitlin Clark and Aya Wilson are gaining mainstream recognition for their actual skills, here comes a player-owned league elevating social media clout over competitive integrity. That's the tension few are willing to face. You can't demand recognition as serious athletes while running a league like a reality TV production. You can't demand higher salaries as elite athletes and then justify trading players mid-season purely for content and clicks. The contradiction is glaring, and it's bound to come back during the next CBA talks. Owners will point to moves like this as proof players prioritize spectacle over the sport. So what unfolds on February 20th when Angel Reese steps onto the court against Nafisa Collier's Hive? Does she dominate? Struggle? Show she's been sharpening her game? Or look rusty and disconnected? More importantly, will anyone outside the existing Unrivaled audience even tune in? That's the true measure of her value to the league. My prediction, a brief curiosity spike. Maybe 200,000 to 250,000 viewers, social media buzzing for a couple of days, then ratings retreat to pre-return levels. That's always how these manufactured moments play out. The hype is intense, the lasting impact negligible. No amount of promotion changes the reality that 3-on-3 basketball in February, no matter who's playing, is a niche product with a capped audience. The real question remains, should Unrivaled have executed this trade? Was it worth appending the league, shifting multiple players, and bending rules to bring back someone who abandoned her first season? Did Azura Stevens, who actually competed in the finals, really matter less to Rose than Angel, who watched via FaceTime from a club? And what does this reveal about Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart's priorities running their own league versus what they're demanding from WNBA owners at the bargaining table? Share your thoughts, because this debate is just getting started.